So welcome back, everybody. I think this week is going to be the week for repairs around here, whether I like it or not. So I was getting a log out of the woods with this tractor, and I think it's a persimmon log. I think it's going to look pretty nice on the mill. And there's a little hickory tree, and I don't know if you can see it out of the corner of the frame or not, but there's a little hickory tree in the middle of the road, or right to the side of the road, that makes it a really tight turn. And I didn't pay enough attention around that turn, and I managed to hit it with the right front tire, just the hub. It ripped the bark off and somehow threw my tractor out of gear. Now, I didn't exactly throw it out of gear in the sense that it went into neutral. It actually just jammed it to where it actually stayed, and that's a flathead, of course. It actually just jammed it so that it stuck in low range 4th gear, so I could only go forward. It took me a while to get these gear shifters unjammed, but after that, of course, I tried the lazy way out of the whole thing, and I just tried to see if I could weave around that tree, and of course I didn't, and I ended up getting more stuck than I was in the first place. So now we've got to take all of this stuff apart so we can get access to what's up under this plate right here in the transmission. So of course y'all already know that the two shifters here, there's a high range and a low range. There are 4 gears in low range and 4 gears in high range. And what happens is, right on the end of this stick right here, there's a little ball, and that ball, it's kind of like a ball and socket joint, kind of like a hip joint, and it goes down into the ball on the transmission, and that's what moves that. And I don't know all these technical terms, but that's what moves everything around and puts it into gear. This has happened before, but I ended up putting a brand new plate right here, and it has not happened in a really long time, and I was kind of surprised that it happened today. So thankfully it's happened before, so I know how to fix it. All we got to do is open this up and put that socket back on that ball, and I think we'll be in business. That should do it for these little panels. And when this started happening last time, it's just a matter of stuff being worn out, and it may be a fluid problem, it may be low on fluid, I'm not sure, I'll have to check on that. But when this started happening last time, it happened pretty frequently, and it almost didn't matter how gentle I was with it. It would just do it when it wanted to do it. Now, we want to make sure all of this is clean, because we don't want to get any junk down in the transmission. It's not a real involved repair, it's just kind of tedious. So when we get done, what I'll do is I'll leave this panel off, because there's a chance it's going to happen more, and if it keeps happening, we'll probably have to replace some parts, I guess. I didn't have a shallow 9/16 socket, so I had to go old school here. So of course I was a good ways from the house when this happened, so I had to walk back up to the house and get the official Fall Line Ridge service truck and come back down here. It's good exercise, and this is a good lesson in patience, I guess. Alright, so let's get a closer look. All of those bolts are off. Let's bring y'all in here and see if y'all can see what's going on here. So I hope that y'all will be able to see this well enough. I'll get as close as I can. So, oh yeah. So this transmission it almost looks like it had water in it at some point in the past. But you can see there's almost like a patina of rust on all this, and it looks like, oh gosh, that is nasty. How in the world would I fix that? That's rust. That's probably why stuff's wearing out so fast in here. Tell me in the comments, what fixes this? Yuck. Alright, let's get it fixed. So this is the notch that the gear selector goes into, and this is what the high and low range selector goes into, and it was I don't know why I thought it was a ball and socket type joint. It's more of a square shaft that goes down in there. Once we get that back together, we should be good to go. So we've got to make sure all of these pins go back in the same spot, and that should fix our problem. Alright. That's not alright. Alright. I think that's got it. Let's put some bolts back down and see if it works properly. So I'm using this impact wrench just because it's just incredibly convenient. There's 3 settings on it. I'm using it on the lowest setting. You don't want to give something like this very much torque. All you really need is to get it good and tight. You don't need to over torque it, of course. But if you're discerning about it, you'll be okay using something like that. Just don't get too crazy about it. Alright, let's see if it works. No, it does not work. We're going to have to do that again. Alright guys, so I repeated all of that. I think the problem was the high and low selector. The shaft wasn't in there for some reason. So we're going to try it again. I think it's going to work this time. So guys, I think we got it fixed. There's obviously something else going on in that transmission because that high and low selector is kind of tight. It's much tighter than it was earlier. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me know the procedure for getting all that junk out of the transmission. There seems to be some kind of a layer of surface rust on all the components inside of there, and that's probably why stuff is wearing out in there. But besides that, that's all I've got. I'm going to get this tree out of the road and it'll be turned into firewood. It's a pretty nice, well, it's not a nice hickory tree, but it's a good firewood tree, I guess you could say. But we're going to get this out of the way so I don't run over it anymore. And that's all I've got. I appreciate y'all watching.